Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Don't see what's yours for the taking tonight. Ooh, show me your soul, baby. I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Can't you see it's way past time? How expensive do I have to be? And then I spell it out before you get it, baby. Show me your soul, and honey, I'll show you. I'll show you.
Good morning. I feel like using this thing that I ring the bell with to, oh my God, what was I thinking? Yesterday, well, where are my manners? Good morning, and welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, a hungover, Lauren Michaels Harris. Yep, that's right, you heard me correctly. It was our 4th wedding anniversary yesterday, as many of you know. It was splashed all over my social. And what a wonderful, wonderful time. Thanks to all of you who sent well wishes our way. On behalf of myself and my husband, Brian, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It was very nice. We felt very loved, so thank you for that. But we went out, and yeah, I just want to give you guys a heads up. If you ever run into a martini by the name of Barry White, not, God rest his soul, but you'll be resting something if you drink them, because that's what, there we are. That was us at Eddie Merlot's last night. And you see those drinks right there? Those were numbers 2 and, what were they? 3 and 4. So you can't even count. 3 and 4. And I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. Think again. Seriously. I know why they call it the Barry White now. Tell me, never mind. We'll get into that on the next show. But it left me feeling, now I know how the Mona Lisa feels after she's had 4 drinks. There she is. Right. Okay. So I'm telling you, it was a great, great day, but boy, know your limits. And look, happy anniversary to the moon and back. That's the night vision, the night version. And there's the day version. Yeah, we had a great time. Friends coming over tonight. And then we have something tomorrow night. What were we thinking? You know, when you're planning things, you feel like you're 20 years old. When you're in the midst of executing, I'll leave that number out. So here we are. Welcome to today's installment. I got a great show for you today. Now's a great time to share the broadcast out. Let your peeps in on this ooey gooey chewy goodness here. Today is, let me tell you, this guy, get ready. I guarantee you're about to learn about something most of us know nothing about. But before we get Grant Blaisdell in here, help me welcome my sidekick. That's right. This is my version of Ed McMahon, Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. And we are, I got a bunch of coffees and stuff yesterday too in my little gift bag from my husband. What are we drinking? Oh, hot buttered rum. Oh, my stomach got queasy just when I said the word rum. I was, okay, enough for you. There's no real rum in it, but you know, when you're like, okay. So you guys saw, look, this is the Galaxis gal and my, this is, what do you call this? What is this called? Not the promo. It's, well, that's us for the show, Cosmo Sapiens. Listen, don't judge. You've been there. Just wait till January 2nd. We'll see. We'll see. So remember, yours is coming. Grant Blaisdell. Now, seriously now, you would never think if you were in the grocery store line with this guy, or, you know, you're like buffing your cars out or vacuuming at the car wash, you'd be thinking, oh, hey, guy, just another Joe Blow. Let me tell you, he looks just like somebody you would go bowling or something, go have a drink with. But inside that head of his, here's what's going on. Grant has been creating ventures at the intersection of new technologies between the United States and Europe since his late teens. Now, as an early innovator in applying blockchain technology to various industries, the companies Grant has co-founded include the leading Blockchain Analytics and AML company, we'll have him explain that acronym, Confirm, and the platform for space assets and investments. So by now, you guys have figured it out. He is coming to us today on his way to Cosmo Sapiens. You know, they have to come in here to see if I can handle it, if I can get in the ring with him. So, and today, probably not. But he's great to listen to. He has a company by the name of Copernic Space. The tie-in is Copernicus. I learned that this morning. And by applying innovative models and technologies, Copernic Space enables space enterprises to better monetize their space assets. Now, what are those? We're going to find out. And also attain financing in one place, while the global market benefits from an easy way to economically engage with the space market. Okay, hold on. Oof. That was almost too much. I'm like, what does that mean? 12th grade education. But I'm learning. Now, here's the good part. Grant is also a musician known as GB Savant, with a background in building digital media platforms, and he's also the president of the Lady Rocket Foundation. Okay, right, we're going to find out about that. So that's him in a nutshell. Now, get ready. Get ready. I know what you're expecting. Some kind of nerd, right? You're going to be surprised. Get ready, everybody. He's a first-timer here, so you know what we do. We put our hearts into the conversation. We put some hearts on the screen as we bring to the stage our guest for today, the incredible Grant Blaisdell. Was it my head or did that? Hi. Even that countdown clock sounded all crazy, cray. Okay, so Grant, you already heard.
Yeah, thanks for the wonderful intro. That was definitely one of the better ones I've ever had, and I think I more need to learn, see if I can battle it out with you as opposed to you battling it out with me.
You ain't got nothing to worry about today, my man. Let me tell you. You know how when you have this is what kind of you ever had a hangover, Grant?
Oh, never, sir. I've been an angel my whole life.
Okay, well, those ones where when you move your eyes left and right, you're like, I know if I go outside, I'm gonna have to put on sunglasses.
I'm a whiskey scotch guy, so trust me, I've had enough of those.
Oh, I love scotch. whiskey.
Yeah. I got some good genetics for it. So
you do?
Well, my name's Grant. I got those Scottish genes, man.
Oh. See, I'm like, okay, in my mind, what's the?
We can talk. That can be another, learning experience the other time. Next time around Scotch.
I'm looking at your background. I know it's not a green screen. It's absolutely gorgeous. Look at those trees and the sunshine. Tell everybody where you are in the world, Grant, and we'll get into the interview.
Right now, I'm in Zamość, Poland, which is a UNESCO. The whole city is pretty much a UNESCO heritage site. This is where my fiance is from, and kind of where I'm spending some time away from the big city.
You're in Poland?
Yeah.
Now, when we had our little conversation, our pre-interview a couple weeks ago, where were you then?
I was in the room right there, actually.
You were in Poland then?
Yeah. I spend the majority of my time in Poland, actually.
Do you speak Polish?
I do. My mother's originally from Warsaw.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Let me hear something.
I know you're in Chicago, so that's like secondary Poland right there.
And I'm married, Rybczynski.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
I know. If I didn't take his name, what if you were on the Lauren Michaels Rybczynski show right now?
I would try to get you to say it in the proper Polish way.
Let me hear you say it.
Is it Rybzyński?
No, I can spell it finally after 4 years. Are you ready?
Yeah,
Rzypczynski.
Rybczynski. Because you got an RZ there.
Brian says it's supposed to be Rybczynski.
Rybczynski, no? Yeah, that's a pretty tough name to pronounce so you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, well.
I didn't know that. That's really cool. So regards to your husband as well from a fellow Polish man.
Right. So I am excited to get you in here. I want to show this because here's the deal. You're the expert. You schooled me when we did our pre-interview, and it was very exciting, especially for a person like me that when I start hearing big words and stuff like that, I get intimidated. I think it's for somebody else. There's no way they could be talking to me. And it's really what I love about this show. Cosmo Sapiens, thank you, iRock Space Radio and Inara, and also iHeart for giving me this opportunity to feel like space really can be for everyone. Now, what I love that you're coming at it from a different perspective. And you guys take a look at this little video because I want it. If we Google, we hear NFT just over here in the laundromat or something, the grocery store line, and we come home and first thing we do is Google. Sometimes we believe everything we find in the news, on social, on Google, Wikipedia. So I wanted to show this little video. You tell us if they explained it right and put it right if they didn't. So, because that way I know my viewers at least and myself are having a chance at learning what we should be learning and leaving all the other crap wherever it is, because not everything is true. So here we go. Here's a little brief explanation, you guys, of what NFT stands for. Non-fungible token.
Stands for non-fungible token. Non-fungible means that something cannot be exchanged for another item because it is unique. For instance, one piece of art is not equal to another. Both have unique properties. Fungible items, on the other hand, can be exchanged for one another. For instance, $1 or Bitcoin is always equal to another. Okay, but what is an NFT? NFTs are tokens that live on a blockchain and represent ownership of unique items. Why is that helpful? Well, tracking who owns a digital file is tricky because it can be copied and distributed effortlessly. So how can you prove who's the original owner when everyone has an identical copy of the file? NFTs solve this problem. Imagine that you made a piece of digital art, essentially a JPEG on your computer. You can create or mint an NFT out of this. The NFT that represents your art contains a bit of information about it, such as a unique fingerprint of the file, a token name, and a symbol. This token is then stored onto a blockchain and you, the artist, become the owner. Now you can sell that token by creating a transaction on the blockchain. The blockchain makes sure that this information can never be tampered with. It also allows you to track who is the current owner of a token and for how much it has been sold in the past. It's important to note that the artwork itself is not stored within the NFT or the blockchain. Only its attributes, such as the fingerprint or hash of the file, a token name and symbol, and optionally a
Oh my God, I'm
file
getting queasy.
hosted on IPFS. More about that in this video here. Now, here's where NFTs become weird. When you buy an NFT that represents artwork, you don't get a physical copy of it. Heck, most of the time, everyone can download a copy for free. The NFT only represents ownership, and that is recorded in a blockchain so nobody can tamper with it. Some say that NFTs give you digital bragging rights. And to make it even weirder, while the token owner owns the original artwork, the creator of the NFT retains the copyright and the reproduction rights. So an artist can sell his original artwork as an NFT, but he can still sell prints. Now, aside from digital art, NFTs can also be used to sell concert tickets, domain names, rare in-game items, real estate, and basically anything that is unique and needs proof of ownership. For example, the founder of Twitter sold his first tweet as an NFT. Anyone can see that tweet on his profile, but now only one person can own it, and that person paid over $2.9 million for it. I could even make an NFT out of this video.
What?
You could then buy it and be the owner of this video, even though it is free to watch for everyone. Now, why are some NFTs worth millions? Well, their worth is determined by what people are willing to pay for it. If I'm willing to pay $100 for a particular NFT, then it's worth $100. Prices are driven by demand, so be careful. An expensive NFT becomes worthless if nobody wants to buy it. Okay, one more thing before we end. How do they work technically? NFTs are essentially smart contracts that live on a blockchain. In this case, the contract stores the unique properties of the item and keeps track of current and previous owners. An NFT can even be programmed to give royalties to the creator every time it exchanges hands. So there you have it, NFTs explained in under 4 minutes. I hope you found this interesting, and if you did, consider subscribing.
Well. Lord have mercy. Now, here we go. Okay, mister, thank you, guy on the video.
That wasn't bad, actually. That was one of the better kind of simple ones I've seen.
I know, because I saw the others. I was like, even I know that's not true. I'm kidding. I didn't. I just looked at the most current, and I looked at some of the comments from people. So thank you for that. So we don't have to erase too much of what we've just heard. So, but let's start with this non-fungible token. Okay, first of all, who named this? What is fungible?
Yeah, they brought a good example. So fungibility means that, a big concern, for example, around the monetary system with Bitcoins, for example, is that companies like CoinFirm, which I created, are going to be analyzing these Bitcoins, and because of activities people did with them before, they're going to make them non-fungible, meaning we'll mark them in some sort of way like this was tied to a drug crime on the deep web. Therefore, somebody might not view it through the same value lens of another Bitcoin. But pretty much fungibility means one of one. They're all the same. They're all the equal value. And the non-fungible means that it is unique. It is one of one. It has unique properties that can't be equal to another non-fungible item. So their explanation was pretty good around that. And, they approached it from the easiest kind of to understand case for it, which is the most popular one right now, which is art. Right? It's something people can easily understand when it comes to it being non-fungible. There's only one Mona Lisa, right?
Well, that depends on who you ask. Because
if we get into thought
out there either.
Okay.
Clearly, she has an alter ego.
Right. I like those. I like that video. That was a pretty good one.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let's get to this thing about. Well, you have a couple companies that are connected to this NFT world. Now, I know you just didn't wake up and hear it and say, "I'm going right out and run a DBA or LLC or whatever you did." How come? Who knows about this NFT? When is it going to hit the Joe Blow, like me? Because
I think it already has.
Really?
Yeah, my guessing is that there's people in your group that already own NFTs or have been in the space for some. That's my guess.
Anybody out there watching right now, you guys, if you have an NFT, if you own one, if you've created one, say, yes, I own one. Yes, I created one, or never heard of it before, or I've heard of it, but I don't know much. What category do you fall into? I want to know, because I was like under a rock, clearly, until Grant came along. So Grant, but tell us why, how long have you known about this, and why did you rush? I have a feeling you got in the first quarter of this NFT game. Why did you feel it was important enough for you to build a company around it?
Well, I think it's a little bit of a longer story. As you mentioned, I'm a creator. I'm an artist originally, and
That's your phone. That's
sorry,
okay.
something's ringing over here. I'm an artist. I'm a creator originally, so I was focused on digital media distribution and monetization platforms. My whole thing is how do we improve trust and transparency and monetizations for creators of the actual value, which is, you know, whether it's a song, whether it is a piece of art, whether it's a movie, etc. And, you know, a lot of people don't understand this, but if you ask a Spotify executive, for example, and I'm on Spotify, and I have asked a Spotify executive this before, I said, hey, so how am I supposed to know that that money you say that you're supposed to give me is the actual amount? And they actually can't answer that because they don't have the systems, the trustless systems, to be able to do that. They start saying corporate spiel and saying third-party providers. And I built a big data company before. I know how data flows, and I am a creator, so I know how these systems work. And they don't have an answer to that. So my foray into blockchain technology itself, which is what NFTs are built on top of, happened in around 2012-13. So I'm kind of old within the blockchain and the crypto space when it comes to that. And my first foray into it was, how do we build better platforms that provide better transparency, trust, and even automate revenue procurement for creators of intellectual property, right? Because at the end of the day, what we're talking about is intellectual property in some digital format, right? Whether it is music, whether it is movies, whatever it may be.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, so that's how I got into it originally. But NFTs themselves, the form that he's talking about in that video and that we're applying to the space industry, and I also have another project that applies it to ticketing, which is an example that he gave. That's about 4 years old, that form of a token itself. But people such as myself and other people in industries have been working around platforms and models that use a lot of the similar kind of ideas that the NFT now represents.
Okay, so here's what I want to clear up. And let me pop some of these on. Robert Bricker says, I do a lot of window shopping. So he's looking at NFTs, just not buying. Here's a Facebook user that's out on one of the other platforms. Hi, Facebook user. If you want to type in who you are, that'll be great, because I'm gonna get their faces and names.
That's really cool, because we want to provide you the capability that you can trust the tickets that you're buying, and, you know, also embed, you know, alternative or extra kind of assets or values or experiences in your tickets that are unique. So that's really cool.
Okay, and then Tanya, thank you. Hi, Tanya Gomez Parker. She goes, I knew that NFT was a button on my phone. I didn't know that.
That's probably NFC she's thinking of.
What's
NFC. NFC is the technology that you use when you're interacting with something physically. So it'll be like, okay, check in, and you like put your phone up to something and it checks in. So like when you're paying for something with your phone through your digital wallet on your phone, and the US is actually kind of behind when it comes to a lot of this stuff. Like when you're at CVS and, you know, you should be able to just put up your phone and pay for something. It doesn't work half the time when I'm in the States.
I don't even do that.
That's NFC technology. So that's my guess that's what she's referring to.
Okay. So let me see. Let's go to the point where you were talking about the art and the intellectual property. So is this more of an investment kind of thing, or will it one day be more than that? Where's this headed?
Yeah, we're applying it in certain ways, for example, in space, to where, and I said the same thing about crypto years ago. The success of crypto, or in this case NFTs, is when you're going to be having millions and millions and millions and millions of people using it, but they don't really have to know that they're using it. I view NFTs as I view NFTs eventually as the kind of backbone of the digital economy. What NFTs have really revolutionized is, they brought the example of, digital art, right? You've never been able to properly commercialize digital art. Why? Because all I had to do was right click, copy it, and it's screwed, right? And what NFTs have allowed for you to create the original unique source file, however you want to call it, that is trusted and verified. And just like you said, the ownership can be verified when it comes to that. So you can say, I have the right to do.
Man, I'm shocked that we just got stuck for the first time. I'm waiting for him to come back. Okay, there, I just saw on the screen. I'm watching simultaneously on my phone. So hopefully Grant realizes that he's frozen. Oh, there he is.
I'm sorry. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move it to my cell phone so that doesn't happen again. Okay.
Oh, are you on the phone?
No, I got internet. I got a regular internet out here, so I'm just going to make sure that doesn't happen again, and we can have a really good experience. My sincere apologies on that.
No worries. I know you know how to do all that. While you're doing that, you guys, I'm proud of you guys out there watching. Lori wants to know too, is it a chip? Now he's frozen. He'll come back. I'm shocked. How come you guys didn't tell me you knew about that? I didn't know about this NFT stuff. Ooh, oh my goodness. I feel like I'm just so far behind. So Lori Whitney wants to know, Grant, is this a chip?
No, but an NFT can represent a physical thing. The NFC thing that I think she brought up earlier in her phone is kind of a chip. But no, NFTs are digital, but they can represent physical aspects. So you actually have like Sotheby's and Christie's right now. They're actually auctioning things off, physical pieces of artwork, and providing you verified ownership of it digitally through an NFT.
Okay. So what's okay. Oh my goodness. So if I bought something from Sotheby's or whatever, and I wanted to, let's say like this, what about stuff that people have inside their safe deposit boxes in banks? They go in, they get the key, they take you in. Okay, we'll be back, and they lock you in there, and you get to open up the thing, and all the skeletons are inside those boxes.
Right.
I keep hearing transparency, truth, and da 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 da. How is this going to be the kind of thing that cannot be used for crimes and hiding money and all the stuff that goes on because people do anything?
Sure.
Talk about
Good question. And actually, there's lots of money laundering already happening in the NFT space. Millions and millions and millions and millions. So remember, you said earlier about coin firm AML, and you're going to have to explain that. AML means anti-money laundering. So I actually have kind of a unique insight into the money laundering aspect around crypto. But the truth is that in the traditional financial space, anti-money laundering effectiveness is at about 2%. It's a circus. It's a joke. It's mainly used by big players to limit small competitors from entering into the financial sphere. Crypto's actually a lot of misinformation has been created around it that, it's for drug criminals, et cetera. And of course, it has been and is being used in certain manners in that manner. But companies like CoinFirm have actually taken that 2% effectiveness, and we've pretty much streamlined and automated it because of the transparency that crypto does provide. Remember, it's a blockchain. Every transaction ever is public, pretty much. You can see it, right? It doesn't identify, hey, this is Lauren to Grant. It has, an address, which is a series of numbers and letters, to an address, which is a series of numbers and letters. But if you know how to analyze these blockchains and also pull in data from the web, et cetera, we take that effectiveness almost to 90 percentile. right? So the honest truth is that money laundering, except for a specific cryptocurrencies like Monero, which is designed specifically to hide source of funds and how it moves, is much more transparent, much more effective when it comes to fighting money laundering aspects. So good question, Lauren. Actually coined from recently released anti-money laundering tools for NFTs specifically, as that's going to be a growing need in our economy, as once again, NFTs are going to represent these kind of a digital backbone of value in our digital economy. Right?
Well, are you worried at all that you might piss off the people that are, with your anti-law? As a matter of fact,
Sure.
you know those two guys in that black van that just pulled up behind you?
Yeah,
You know them?
especially when we started, because we were I don't even look behind me anymore. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay.
You didn't hear me. You're good.
But when we started, we were really the first company that came out and really publicly communicated, hey, this is what we're doing and why we're doing it. There's other companies though that work more close with big government than we do. But I had some interesting kind of comments and threats and coming in my Twitter DMs or Twitter, especially about 4 or 5 years ago. That slowed down a little bit because what we've done is become kind of normal. It's understood that this has to be a part of the digital economy. It's not going to be a Wild West forever. So no, but I'm aware of the threat in some loose sort of sense, but
Yeah, right.
I'm focused on
different
things now though anyways.
I hear you. Listen, I want to, when we're going to take a brief but needed break so that I can go like this. You guys get your questions and comments ready. When we come back, I want to go into the space side of things and specifically speak to Grant regarding his company, Copernic Space. We're going to find out how he is letting the world know that it is now time and it is possible for all of us to buy and sell payload space on the moon. You heard me right, on the moon as an NFT. We're going to get into that and more when we return. Share the broadcast out while we're gone. We'll be right back. Good morning and welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris, and today we are talking about all things NFT, non-fungible tokens. But before we bring back our expert, Grant BLAISDELL, I want to tell you about a choice that is working out pretty nicely for me. I used to be a big Diet Coke drinker, but now I exchanged that for this V8. Why? First of all, only 60 calories per can, two full vegetable servings in every can, and it's 100% made from concentrate of vegetables. So easy to find. Head down the juice aisle in your local grocery and you will find it, so that you don't have to say, oops, I could have had a V8. You can say, I'm about to have me a V8. Ooh, this is probably good with a little tequila in it. I'm kidding. I have a hangover. That's what I'm drinking. Oh my God. My hangover's gone. I'm kidding. Can you imagine now how powerful they would be if you took one sip of V8 in your head? Boy. But I know something that does do that for you Spanish aficionados. Menudo, not the group, the soup. Have you ever had it? Have you ever had that, Grant? If you had
I'm not a big fan of menudo or gazpacho, but you don't have to share your V8 sponsorship money with me for this. One of the things I miss the most in Europe about being in Europe is I don't get to go to 7-Eleven and get a V8. I'm actually a big V8 fan, but not the spicy one, the regular one.
No, just the regular for me.
It's pretty good with vodka, by the way. I think better than tequila, actually.
I know. That was a nasty. So you can tell I don't mix things. I drink the same thing, just like I always order the same food every time I go someplace to eat. I'm not very courageous when it comes to my food and drink.
I miss V8 though. That's for sure, actually.
Yes. So, here's something. Is this it? Yeah, I want to talk to you about this right here. You guys, take a look. I'm just going to pop it up on the screen again. There's no sound with this one. We don't need that. Is this it? Yeah. Take a look. So here is your company's claim that, you see it right there on the screen. It says buy and sell payload space on the moon as an NFT. Now, who is looking at this and going, ooh, I better get on the ground floor of this opportunity. Who is this opportunity for, and why is this something that we should lean in and possibly consider, Grant?
Well, there's two sides to it. One is, as Copernic Space, we're looking to provide a real platform with real functionality and solutions for the space economy. So a lot of people don't understand this, whether you want to buy payload or cargo space on something, or you want to get a satellite data license and acquire certain, rights to access satellite data. Those processes take months and months and months and months. It's very archaic. It's business processes that are decades old, right? So one thing we want to prove to this is that you can have a digital market in space and you can execute almost like in an e-commerce experience. These space companies can commercialize what they're doing. But the kind of bigger thing, especially for you guys, is that this is the first time ever that the general commercial market, let alone the average person, general public, can quote unquote own a piece of space.
Explain
right?
it. What's it look like? Because here's let me tell you what. Here's some organic experience for y'all. I'm thinking, like if I'm on the TW, do they still have TWA? Is that still an airline? Oh, Lord Jesus.
I don't think so.
I know. What next? I'm going to tell you how I used to play with Nellie Olson in Walnut Grove. No. Okay. So let's picture American Airlines. I had to, oh, Lord. I'm sitting up in my seat. When I think payload or whatever, I think the stuff underneath, downstairs inside that belly. Is that what we're talking about? Explain, what does this look like? Payload in space.
Yeah, so the payload space on this specifically is on Lunar Outpost rover, which is going to the moon next year. So this payload space is 3.5 kilos of available space we're going to make available in NFT format. You can use that for technical aspects. So let's say you want to put on some sort of measuring thing. Nokia, for example, is using the payload space to put a 4G LTE kind of infrastructure on it to start testing internet communication and connections from the moon. But you can also use it for what we call kind of dumb payload, which, I have a dream of involving major brands and, really good causes and give them the opportunity to put something on the moon, the first Louis Vuitton purse on the moon, whatever, let your imagination run with that.
But it's not a real purse that's up there.
No, you can put a real purse. Like, I'm giving the opportunity quite literally for you to put something on the moon. That's
so you're
one
saying
thing.
If I wanted to send Care Bear to the moon, the first openly gay stuffed animal on the moon, and I say, here, Grant, send this to the moon. What happens when I say I want to send it? Well, pack him up and ship him to my house, and then I'm going to get him loaded on the rover. Well, how does that work?
Yeah, before December 1st, you'll be able to come on to copernicspace.com. You'll be able to request from Lunar Outpost the capability to put something on their rover. Because if you're going to use the payload space functionally, they need to understand what you're trying to put on it. So you'll be able to request, provide them details. If they approve it, you guys can execute a transaction and you'll get an NFT that provides you the rights of ownership and capability to do so. And as long as you provide them physically your Care Bear by the deadlines that they have, you can literally send that Care Bear up to the moon.
Lord, my goodness.
Oh, and the cool thing is once the rocket launches, that NFT unlocks, and you can chop it up and resell it, and you can create kind of your own further economic revenue stream off you buying the rights to be able to do so. And then a few months after that, we're just going to allow Robert, Lori, yourself, all the people in your community to come on and acquire the remaining payload space in smaller intervals, right? Because there's $100,000 minimum if you want to actually send something up. But I'm going to give the capability for you, Lauren, to buy 1/10 of a gram if you want and give it to your husband as a present, the first space asset ever. And he would literally own something that is going to and will be on the moon.
Okay, is this going to end up one day? You know how, I'm going to give you some examples from my lifetime, 59 years old. I have a jar, a little bottle, I don't know who gave it to me, but of some Mount St. Helens ash. I think it was 1980 or whatever, when that thing, so I have like that. Is this going to go the way of wooden nickels? You know what I'm saying? It's like, where do you see you own some NFTs, right?
I'm more of a creator than I am a buyer. I bought my first art one actually last week. I don't get into the hype of, if you want my honest opinion, about 99% of what you see around NFTs right now is complete bullshit.
See? Well, when's it going to be safe to go in the water?
Listen, it's the .com age of 1998 right now.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Like, remember back in those days, you had, 1,000 websites that were worth, millions and millions and millions of dollars. And it was like petmydog.com, and they had no innate value. It was complete bullshit. And what happened is, the market eventually matured, and, the real companies, the real solutions came out the other end, the Yahoos, et cetera. Right. So, you're going to see a lot of similarities in how this market matures, except this market matures a lot faster. And it's unique because it's built around value and trust, right? I say the internet kind of changed our user interface of life and how we access data. Blockchain and these sort of applications are going to change how we view value and trust of data, right? Robert earlier said something about the news, right? Mm-hmm. So one thing the internet has done, it's provide, like, somehow we have access to more information than we've ever had before, but people are getting dumber. And why is that, right? Because there's actually no kind of trust between parties into it. And once again, why was digital art not ever a thing? Is because you couldn't verify ownership and trust of it, because you could just copy and paste it, manipulate it whatever way you want. And applications of crypto and NFT are actually going to provide a different layer of trust. But once again, that's going to be in the background mainly. It's like most people don't know what internet protocol they're using right now. And it doesn't matter, right? All we have to know is that it fucking works, right?
Well, where do you see your company, Copernic Space, in, let's say, 20 years?
Well, 20 years in the startup in the crypto space is a century. Facebook isn't even 20 years old, and I think it might die or get killed before it's even 20 years old, to be honest. But we see ourselves as the economic operating system for space. So anytime you're economically interacting, acquiring something from space, you're going to be doing it along our rails and our platform, whether you know that or not.
Do you feel, because how old are you, Grant? How old are you?
Oh, I was going to ask you. You tell me. I'm 33.
See, just a kid. And so I want to, Do you believe, seriously, do you believe that one day people will talk about what we've been alluding to and touching on here today? Will they be talking about these kinds of transactions just like they talk about, well, I'm going to Western Union my sister some money for her birthday, or I'm going to Cash App you this afternoon? Do you believe these NFTs will be the sort of thing one day that will just be a commonplace with everyone having access, or will it be something that you have to have a lot of money, like the stock market? It's always around, but people that are hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck, they're not interested in NASDAQ. They're not interested in pork bellies are at an all-time high or whatever, because they just don't have that kind of economic power behind them.
Yeah, Lauren, you have this cute humility about you where you're like, I don't get it, da 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 da. But you have some, unknowingly maybe, you bring up really, really good points which sit at the soul and the core of why I do what I'm doing. I built ventures worth many, 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 many millions of dollars, but I'm not an accredited investor. I can't even technically invest in the shit that I create. Right. And
some kind of conflict of interest, or
no, I'm not an accredited investor. You need to prove that you pretty much have $1 million in assets on your bank account to be able to do that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Right. And you brought up the stock market. The average American family supposedly only has like $400 of emergency money at any time. And the thing with this payload space case, for example, this is the first time, and it's very important for us to prove this, that the average person can have ownership and potential economic position within the space economy, which is going to be the largest and most important economy in mankind's history, because it's quite literally limitless, right? And if things continue the way that they are, it's going to be like all these other industries, real estate, et cetera, to where it's actually kind of only for, the 1% or, the top 5% of the market that even has the economic capability. But even more important, it's more about access, right? It's more about access. So with the payload space case, we're going to set some sort of minimum, but our thing is, if you have $100, you can buy a piece of ownership in this payload space. You get it as an NFT, so it's unique ownership, right? You can chop it up and you can resell it. We're creating also the first ever secondary market for space. So we're taking space from being valued exclusively from scientific and technical utility and accessible only to governments and billionaires and really people in the know with access. Like you can't buy SpaceX shares, right? And transition that into an open space asset class that the average person can economically participate in. Why? Because it's a dual-edged thing. Like these space entrepreneurs and ventures, they have limited access to capital. The only capital funding sources over the past 5 years that we've seen that actually have the risk tolerance and really that passion to be able to fund the space economy is the general public. You saw that a few years ago with initial coin offerings. That's a whole different rabbit hole I'm not going to open right now. But you saw it last year with the GameStop situation on Robinhood, where if you gave the general public an open avenue to invest into something and you fuel that passion behind it, they'll eat the biggest hedge fund in the day. All these VCs, all these guys, they have generally fake controlled power positions within the economy. And it's like George Carlin said, it's like, it's a big fucking club and you ain't in it, right? And our whole thing is to kind of break that down. Lori, if you got the money, the only problem is that I think we can't send biomass up on this mission. So you'd probably have to like cremate him first or whatever.
That's funny. Let me ask you, because you said access. So I think back to the historically speaking, and let's say within the United States, but I'm sure it's all over the place. As far as building generational wealth, let's talk about that if we could, because you touched on it when you said access to the space. People want to go up in space. It's for the billionaires and stuff right now. But Inspiration 4 opened up a whole new can of worms, if you will, in a good way, showing that you don't have to be a billionaire. So there, boom, knock that crumb off the table. But as far as true accessibility, so what's to make us believe, as far as, you know, this transparency and truth and honesty and all of that, integral, how do we know all the people with all the money, all the power aren't going to get in there first and as we speak, procuring further generational wealth for themselves before it comes and trickles down to us everyday lay people?
Listen, I think crypto, one thing it has done, it's thrown the entire idea of what is value on its head, but it's also allowed for fractionalization and divisibility of assets. And Robert brought it up there.
I just saw that.
Yeah, so you know, real estate is a good example that people can kind of, the general person can kind of understand. It's like, okay, I don't have enough money to buy a house, but I got enough money to buy 1,000th of a house and treat that as an asset.
That's a shingle.
Excuse me?
That's just a shingle off the roof.
Whatever it may be, but it is an asset that represents, you know, ownership of something.
So what you're saying is 25 years from now, when that house sells for $1 billion, that shingle could be something that could change somebody's life.
Correct. And you've seen this in crypto already. You know, like I said, most stuff in the NFT and the crypto space for now on is complete garbage, but people are making new wealth is being made off as garbage. There's countless new millionaires that were created who don't have access to the stock market. They don't have enough money to be a limited partner in a venture capital firm, right? So crypto has really broken down those things. But it's not a silver bullet. It's not going to solve everything. Human nature still is human nature. Human beings have a predisposition to suck sometimes and do shitty things. And also there's certain just natural law that happens. You know, accumulation of wealth is a part of kind of natural law. More collects more. You see it in physics as well. The bigger the mass, the more it attracts to it, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, and I've seen that even you have one little success and all of a sudden all these new people start showing up around you, offering you new opportunities, right? So I don't think, you know, crypto or whatever I'm ever going to be able to do is going to eliminate that. But it's definitely a superior system compared to what we've had so far.
Wow. Talk about, Grant, if you could, this partnership with Copernic Space and Lunar Outpost, how you guys are targeting this space commercialization through the offering of NFTs. So there's an article out right now, and in it, I believe it's you're quoted as saying that people will be able to purchase much smaller and divided amounts, whether it be 10 grams or 1/10 of a gram. So how are you getting this opportunity into the hands of, I would imagine, doing things like you're doing right now, but how are you getting people to understand where they need to be so that, where do you go? Okay, let's put it this way. When I need financial advice, I go to a wealth management specialist. I go to someone who knows how to invest my money. So is there someone in this space that can sit down and help people plan out how to do this?
Not yet. I don't, at least not that I know
your
of.
next company.
Well, I'm pretty good at communication, but I'm the creator of this. And as a creator, you kind of get stuck in your own vacuum and you kind of lose distance, that distance to your creation. And, you know, so one thing I'm doing right now is I'm bringing people on the team who have a good track record, especially like in the crypto market, because the first people who are really going to understand this and jump at this opportunity are probably going to be people who have already done so in the crypto space, right? I think there's about a 2-3 year curve when it comes to what we're doing at Copernic Space to it becoming kind of a standard or something that's better understood. I hope I didn't freeze again. Seems like I did.
Okay. Oh,
No, I'm back. I'm back. Sorry.
we were all gone. Everybody.
Okay.
We all disappeared. I was like, "Oh Lord, don't!" But I hope there's not an empty seat sitting there when you come back. You know, in your
No, no.
hands, like, listen.
You had a really good question, by the way. I don't know how that's going to develop. You know, we're really at the infancy, but we really want to push it at a super fast pace. So I'm learning how to communicate this stuff. And, you know, one reason why we're going to be doing unique marketing aspects and try to make it more relatable to the average person is exactly that, right? So that they understand that they do at least have this opportunity. The knowledge of even knowing that you have this opportunity is valuable in itself.
Right, because I mean, if I were to invest in something like this, I know I'm a long game thinker. I don't really go for the wide build. I go for the deep build, long term. And so one of my first questions was, is this transferable? Excuse me, can I leave this in my will to someone or to an organization?
Right. These are all things that are just now being, defined. Like, people are dying with crypto, and how are you going to access that wallet if they didn't give you the private keys to it, right? I got a buddy, for example, he owns a company called Keychain X, and I think they even had a situation where someone died and they were trying to help the family crack into the wallet by, different codes, running different series of numbers, etc. These things are really in their infancy. A whole new asset class, and once again, kind of definition of value has been created through crypto, and we'll see how it goes.
Right, and we haven't even gotten to the point about when is there going to be space taxes? You know what I mean? Are they gonna? You know what I'm saying?
They haven't even figured out crypto taxes, let alone space taxes. With us sending stuff to the moon, there's almost no blockades. You just can't claim ownership of a portion of the moon itself. But you can own something that's on it. There's nothing blocking you from doing that. So, we're pushing a lot of boundaries with this commercial case by itself.
Absolutely. And for all of you out there, I know what you're thinking, and it's not just you. If you feel like now you're going, this feels like what they felt way back when they said, I heard a rumor, there's gold out in California. Well, let's hitch up the wagon and take 6 months to get there.
But make sure your company is the one that's providing the axes and the shovels and your Levi's, and not the mining company itself, because the mining companies themselves don't exist anymore. But Levi's is still around.
See, good. Where's my thing? There it is. Great point. Well, we've got 2 minutes left. You guys, do yourself a favor. Get in and check out CopernicSpace.com, and there's also coinfirm.com. If the crypto you want, there's lots of questions still swirling around, and these do kind of interlink, interact with each other. So you might want to go in. That can help give a broader understanding of the complete picture. And if LinkedIn is your jam, you can find them over there as well. There it is on your screen. I'll take the liberty of dropping all of these links inside the comment section at the conclusion of today's program, so you can go in and easily redirect over immediately, make it easy for you. And also, I want you guys to take a look, or listen rather in this case, and get over to Spotify if you want to check out the album that Grant has out. It is there and it's available. So if we bring you back a year from now, Grant, to pick up the conversation from where we're leaving it today, what do you think will be the first thing you'll be talking about as far as you look what's happened since I'll
be checking out if Robert, Lori, and these other people bought any of this payload space, because that rover will be actually shooting up into space around that time.
Okay, pretty exciting stuff.
And by the way, Lauren, really cool interview. One of the best ones I've done as far as just interest and obviously sharing knowledge. So big props to you as well, man.
Oh, good. So there's a little, I'm going to give you a link where you can go and give me, I'm kidding. You know how they say you get this, please, at the grocery store, you get a free this if you go and review me. No, but thank you. That makes me feel really good, because it helps me understand what was going on in the IROC space people's mind when they said, okay, bring in Lori. So I was like, what the hell? But it is wonderful. And I really appreciate people just like yourself, Grant, who come in and break it down for us so that we understand as it develops. not learning or hearing or being offered what they want us to know later. I appreciate you coming in, ducking underneath the wire, lifting it up and coming in, even if it says, you see, I really appreciate you. You guys,
likewise.
Put this, guys, if we were pouring sidewalk or a driveway right now, I believe you want to let this guy sign his initials somewhere in that wet concrete. Because
I'd help you pour it. I got some blue collar background too, so I'll help you pour the concrete as well.
There you go. Because one day that slab of sidewalk could change your life. You guys,
thanks, Lauren.
Thank you. Get out there, everybody. Do what we do. We change the world one opportunity at a time, which means whatever it is, a person, a thing, just change it a little bit. Leave it a little bit better than the way you found it. Take bright to brighter, strong to stronger, bold to bolder. Think outside the box. Live outside the box, but dream across the universe, space.
And drink V8.
And drink V8. Ding, ding. It's for all of us. I'll see you guys back here on Monday, God willing, for another episode of Bathrobe Moments. Be great and be even greater to the world. Bye-bye.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you